Hi, I'm Commissioner Rica Regalado. Thank you for joining us on your lunch break. Today, we're talking with one of our amazing community partners about the different programming and opportunities that we have and how we work with them and how we can work with you to do more and provide these services to all the residents of Miami-Dade County.
For those that this is the first time that you guys are doing this type of training, I wanted to say congratulations to you. For those that has been in this journey learning about around AI for a while, I say congratulations to you as well, because this is one precisely the reason why we are partnered with of the Office of Commissioner Regalados to make sure that you guys received what is available in our community to learn about AI, to learn about how it became more efficient professional using the tools that are available. And I don't want anyone to be scared about the use of AI. On the contrary, this is the way where we're going to start building and creating more efficiencies, more services based on the use of a tool, which is AI, and for you to connect those dots, which are the resources and tools that a professional as Dr. Lee is going to be showing you what is possible and how you can unlock the future for your business or even for your household. In my case, I just wanted to give you an idea. I use AI every day, not just in my professional life, but even in my personal life. For the last 3 or 4 months, I've been creating illustrations for my daughter, my little one, using AI. And that's something really, really simple that you guys can use as well. And it goes beyond what we think we can do. And definitely, this is a journey that we are trying to provide you with the best tools available to start using AI as a superpower, not as an enemy of what you are going to be learning today. So with that, I wanted to just give you a little bit of introduction of who is Dr. Nestor Lee. So he's the most effective and the most proficient person that I know that uses AI. He's a father, he's a business owner, he's has exited multiple companies, but he has chosen to be at Miami-Dade College and being a faculty for our community. So for that reason, I wanted to say thank you to him. He's in a secret place today. I don't know if he can say or describe where he is right now, but don't take it for granted. Don't take for granted this master class, because definitely this is a master class brought to you by Miami-Dade College and courtesy of the Commissioner Regalado's office, and especially to Alejandro as well. He has been a champion on this initiative, and I wanted to say thank you to both of you. And for those that are joined today, I know that we have a good number, 175, which is great. We hope to see more for the next one, that is next Monday. Please bring your family, bring your friends, bring everyone, because this knowledge and these resources are for everyone in our community. And definitely, if you use it, you are going to be ahead of the curve. So with that being said, again, thank you, Alejandro. And Dr. Lee, please take it over.
You got it. Thank you so much, sir. Can you guys, can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. What if I told you that the single most powerful tool in human history is already sitting in your pocket, and most of us are just using that thing to check the weather? So, good afternoon, District 7. My name is Dr. Lee, and I'm actually very proud to be here today on behalf of Miami-Dade College and our incredible Commissioner Regalado. I had the opportunity to work with a particular program, our Kindle Learning Academy, KLA, that was really spearheaded and brought to life by Commissioner Regalado, that does a lot of just amazing work for our neurodivergent students. So I'm very grateful to Commissioner Regalado and the work that she does. So anyway, today, I don't want anybody to think of this as any kind of lecture or anything like that. I want you to think about this as a conversation. And I want you to think of this as a conversation that could literally change the trajectory of your business or your career, and honestly, even your life. Because what we're doing now is we're standing at the most kind of important technological inflection point since the internet. And I would even say since maybe electricity. And all of this is happening, and it's happening right here, right now in Miami. So, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, South Miami, Pinecrest, every neighborhood in this district has the opportunity to lead, to not follow in this kind of age of AI. So I want you to leave here today with something tangible. I don't want you to leave here with any theory, no buzzwords. I want you to walk away with some real tools, some real strategies, and a real mindset shift that you can apply starting tomorrow. So Commissioner Regalado brought us together today because she believes, and I believe, that the future in District 7 and all of Miami is not something that's going to happen to us. It's going to be something that we're going to build together. So let's start with the very beginning. At the very beginning, I'm going to start by saying the most important thing, and by the way, we're going to have a series. We're going to get more and more detailed as we move forward. This is going to be about, how we can change our relationship with AI and kind of use this thing in a way where it can add some significant value. Let me ask you, if you had access to Albert Einstein, the Albert Einstein, the real Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds of the 20th century, what would you ask him? Would you ask him to fetch your coffee? Would you ask him to write a quick email? I hope not. I hope that you'd sit down with him and ask him some of the deepest, the most important questions that you could think of. But this is the uncomfortable truth that we have to start with if we're going to leverage this thing to empower ourselves. This is the uncomfortable truth. That right there, what I just described, having access to Albert Einstein and asking him to go and fetch your coffee, that's exactly the way most people are treating this AI. You have access to this system that has literally read more books than, how many do we have? Like 176 people, 184 people. There's 184 of us on this call. And you have access to a technology that's read more books than all 184 of us have read in 10 lifetimes. And you treat this thing like it should be out fetching coffee. Asking it to summarize a paragraph. Asking it for the weather. So we have been treating the most knowledgeable consultant in human history like a glorified search engine. And think about what that means. It means that every doctor, every lawyer, every financial advisor, every marketing genius, every business strategist that ever wrote a book, that ever wrote a column, a blog, that ever recorded a lecture, wrote a paper, AI has absorbed all of that. Not only has it absorbed it, it's available to you right now for free. Here is my promise to you. Before we walk out of here, before you leave here, I'm going to give you access to one of the best models that exists, and it won't cost you a penny. The only thing that it will cost you is a little bit of your time. In order for you to take advantage of this, it requires a shift in mindset. The shift I'm asking you to make today, it's a mindset shift. Stop thinking of AI as an assistant and start thinking of this thing as your most knowledgeable consultant. Think about that. Every single one of us, whether you own a business, work in a business, want to start a business, whether you're an employee, all of us have access to this consultant if we decide to take advantage of that. Start thinking of this as your most knowledgeable consultant, hyper-personalized for you. When you sit down to use AI, ask yourself, what would the world's foremost expert on this topic, how would they approach this? Because that's exactly who you're talking to. The residents, business owners of District 7, we deserve access to world-class expertise. And today, I'm going to show you how we can get to that. Here's the part that nobody likes to talk about. We have to pick the right tool for the right job. We keep using this word AI broadly. We use this word AI very broadly. But if we want to address things like hallucinations, misinformation, bias, we have to start being a little more strategic with the tools that we use. Just like you wouldn't use a hammer to perform brain surgery, you can't use one AI tool for every single task. Because the difference between getting a mediocre answer and a brilliant answer, it comes down to which tool that you pick. So if you start with ChatGPT, ChatGPT is general purpose. It's a powerhouse, but it's general purpose. ChatGPT is built for conversation. So if you want to brainstorm or you want to write or everyday task, ChatGPT will probably do the job. Gemini is one of the world's best models from Google. That's going to be where you go if you need, say, live data or real-time information or deep integration into Google's ecosystem. Grok, if you need kind of some, wisdom of the crowd, they're pretty good with that. They don't have restrictions, so be careful. If you you can get some spicy responses. I'll put it like that. Be careful. Perplexity is fact-based, and Claude is one of the best in the world when it comes to deep reasoning. People ask me all the time, do you pay for ChatGPT? The answer is no. Next question is why not? Because it's not one of the best models. It depends upon what you're trying to do. I like to write code. So ChatGPT isn't, they're getting better at writing code, so I don't use it for that. I use Claude for that. In fact, I'm going to give you a link that I'm going to recommend that everybody go to. Go to arena.ai. I'll put this in chat. I'm not sure if you can see the chat, but I'll put this in chat.
We don't have a chat feature here.
Okay.
Yeah, just a Q&A, but people.
Got it.
But I can see this, and I'm following you as well.
Okay, got it. Okay, so arena.ai. If you click on this third button, if you will, over here, it'll show you the leaderboard. And this is where we go when we want to measure the power, the performance of these different AI systems. So if you just look at text generation or conversation, you can see that Claude is one of the best in the world. Claude Opus 4.6 thinking, not one of, it is the best in the world with the ELO score of 1505. They also do this based off of humanity's last exam. But here's the bottom line to all of this. The bottom line to all of this is the source of truth when you're trying to see how powerful these models are at specific tasks, right? Pick the right tool for the right job. And if you look over here, you can see Gemini 3 Pro is one of the best, one of the top 2 models in the world, and is barely second place. And this is free. So if you go to aistudio.google.com, aistudio.google.com, you have access, I'm going to go to Playground here, you have access to the world's best model for free. And then when it comes to paying, like I said, I use Claude, for my paid, because it's just amazing when it comes to logic and reasoning and doing stuff. All right. So I'm going to come back to this. But I wanted to at least call that out for right now. The right tool for the right job. And I'll provide this presentation as well. So I think all of the links and everything are already in there. This right here is going to be a little bit of a review. Those of you that were in the first session, this is going to be a little bit of a review, but it's so important that it's worth repeating. This right here is the most important slide in this entire presentation. This right here is what separates people that play with AI and people that use AI in a very meaningful way. The single most valuable skill that you can take away from today, it's called metaprompting. And once you understand metaprompting, you will never use the AI the same way again. Now, the problem is that most people sit down, they think of a question, and they type that question directly from their brain into the keyboard, directly from their brains to the keyboard. And that's the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing that you can do, that brain to keyboard loop. Because that loop is always going to give you average results. The quality of what you get out of AI is directly related to the quality of the question that you put in. And most people are just putting in average. If you don't get anything out of today, hear me when I say this. If you want to empower yourself, if you want to give yourself a chance in this next era, this next wave, because this is a wave. If you want to put your surfboard on this wave, you have to break that brain to keyboard loop. You have to learn how to metaprompt. Before you prompt anything of value related to your business, before you do anything, stop and ask yourself, from the perspective of a world-class expert in this field, how would they approach and how would they write this prompt? Then you go and then you take what they put in there and you use that. The difference is staggering. Staggering. That is the best gift that I can give you, is if you can take that and put that to work for you and your business and your life. Because this will allow AI to not replace your thinking, but to scaffold your thinking, to improve your thinking. Don't ask this thing questions straight from your brain to the keyboard. Don't do it. Always ask from the perspective of an expert. Ask it, don't say, how do I market my restaurant? Don't do that. Instead, you say, you are a world-class marketing strategist with 20 years of experience in the Miami restaurant industry. I own a small family restaurant in Coconut Grove. Give me a comprehensive, actionable marketing strategy for the next 90 days. That one shift from an amateur prompt to an expert prompt is going to give you results that are 100 times more powerful, more useful. Metaprompting is not complicated. Do it enough times and it becomes a habit, your habit. And then the next thing you know, you will be 100 times more powerful. You will be empowered. It's the habit of pausing, thinking like an expert, and then asking. Every time you use AI from this point forward, I want you to hear my voice in your head saying, break that loop. Think like an expert. Because the residents, businesses in District 7, we don't deserve average answers. We deserve expert level insights. And metaprompting is how you get there. The most important thing. In fact, here, I'm gonna do this. Just to give a quick example. Go back over here, and I'm going to go to the world's most powerful model, right? The world's most powerful, number 2. We just saw that this was number 2, Gemini 3.1 Pro. You go back over here. Gemini 3.1 Pro, second most powerful model in the world. And I'm going to show you what metaprompting looks like. I like to talk to my machine. I need for you to write me a prompt from the perspective of an expert photographer. I'm going to upload a picture, and I want that picture to be converted into a professional headshot that I can post out on, say, LinkedIn. I want this prompt, because remember, I want you to write the prompt for a picture that I will load. I want this prompt to be from the perspective of an expert photographer with 30 years of experience. I want you to consider the camera, the lighting, the angle, whatever an expert photographer would have to consider when they write this prompt. Make sure that this prompt is robust. Okay, so Metaprompt, there's an example of it. Let me run it. I need for you to write me a prompt from the perspective of an expert. This is from an expert photographer. Yours could be from an expert salesperson, from an expert marketer, from an expert whatever, right? That's up to you. It depends upon what it is you're trying to do. Notice that it thought first before it started to give me an answer. It thought before it gave me an answer, and this is the prompt that it came up with. So I'm just gonna copy this whole thing. And by the way, I'm not sure about you, but I'll tell you that I could not write a prompt. If I can learn how to copy and paste. There we go. Copy this. I could not write a prompt this good. Okay, I know nothing at all about cameras. Okay, certainly not lighting setups, angle composition, blah, blah, blah. I know nothing at all about that. So the AI wrote the prompt for me. The AI wrote the prompt for me. So now I'm going to go over here and see what this looks like. I'm just going to use a regular model. Here, I'll use this one. Why not? Create a new one. I just copied that prompt. Now I'm going to just paste this prompt in here. And let me drag and drop this picture in here as well. So there's the picture. That's me. I said that as if you didn't know that. And then let me see what it comes up with. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's the before and the after. I don't quite love that picture. I don't love that picture, but it will it'll get the job done, right?
You look great. You look great.
I do look, yeah, I don't like that picture. I would actually we'd have a conversation. We would definitely be having a conversation about this.
Looks good.
But you get the idea, right? I didn't write the prompt. I let the expert photographer write the prompt. And then the AI does the work. So it's doing all of the heavy lifting for me. Okay. But I definitely would not be putting that on LinkedIn. All right. How would an expert write the prompt? System prompting. System prompting. Again, very important. System prompting. What if you could hire a world-class business consultant or a master tutor or a seasoned paralegal or a brilliant marketing strategist, and you can have access to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free? That's exactly what system prompting is going to give you. A system prompt is just going to be a set of instructions that you give to the AI before your conversation even begins. It's going to tell the AI who to be, how to think, what expertise to bring to every single response. So let's imagine you own a small business in South Miami. You could tell your AI, you are a world-class business consultant specializing in small businesses in Miami-Dade County. You understand the local market, the Hispanic community, the tourism economy, the regulatory environment. So every response that you give me should be practical, should be specific, should be actionable for small business owners. Now, every time you ask a question about pricing, marketing, hiring, expansion, it's going to get answered from that lens of that expert. You have not just hired a consultant, you've hired the best consultant that you could ever afford. And this consultant does not sleep. You have 24/7 access to this consultant. For any of the parents that are on this call, think about what this means for your child's education. You can give this AI a system prompt that says, you are a world-class tutor specializing in helping middle school students in Miami understand mathematics. You are patient. You are encouraging. You use real-world examples from Miami to explain concepts. And now your child has a personalized tutor that's available every night for every subject at every level. The system prompting isn't a technical trick. It is the key to unlocking AI's full potential. And it's available to every single one of us in here. Just to give you an example of what this looks like. Just going to go over here. If you go to the free AI Studio, I can just go to system instructions. And I'm just going to paste in what I just said. You are a world-class business consultant. And so I'm going to name this South Miami Business Consultant. And think about what I just did now. So now that I have this here, my system instructions, whenever I talk to this thing, how can I hire cooks for my restaurant? It's going to answer any question that I give it from the perspective of this expert. Okay. So what I can do is I can go in and create these virtual, I'm going to use the word agents. They're not really agents, but I'm going to use those agents every time. And so now I don't have one generic AI. I have an AI that's specific with a personality or a soul that's specific to what I'm trying to do. Notice that when it responds with hiring in Miami-Dade County is blah, blah, blah. You're competing against blah, blah, blah. But it's doing all of this because its personality is not just a business consultant, but specifically a business consultant in our area. Okay. So that is what system prompting is all about. That's why it's important. Okay. So unfortunately, I've already gone in and demoed AI Studio. I still think it's the best free AI that most people have never heard of. When most people think of AI, you know, first thing that comes to mind is ChatGPT, right? And ChatGPT is excellent, but I'm going to tell you about, you know, aistudio.google.com. In my opinion, in my professional opinion, it's the most powerful free AI tool available to anybody on earth today. It's available to every single one of us. I use this for marketing. I use this for building viral social media campaigns. I use this to analyze business reports. I use this to forecast my sales. I use this as a lightweight CRM. It's powerful. I would ask and urge every single one of you to go home, open up your browser and go to aistudio.google.com and just spend 15 minutes exploring it. Paste in a document that you've been meaning to analyze. Ask it a question about your business, about your life. Upload a photo and ask what it sees. Because there's a gap between those who use tools like this and those who do not. And I see that gap growing every single day. And today you have an opportunity to close that gap. It's the best free AI that most people have never heard of. You do need a Google account, though. I will say that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I've shown you the fact that it's multimodal. I have gone in and shown you how to create a headshot generator. How much do headshots cost? I have no idea because it's been years since I've gone in and done any headshots. But that's a use case that every single one of us can walk away with in here, creating your own headshots. Whether you are a business owner, a student, an employee, a lot of folks work with spreadsheets. A lot of people work with spreadsheets. Let me just zone in for a second. I just want to talk to the business owners on this call for 1 second, or people that work in small businesses. How many of you have some kind of data, sales data, customer data, inventory data, financial data, any kind of data sitting in a spreadsheet somewhere that you never fully understood? And it's not because you couldn't understand it. Maybe you didn't have time to go through it. How many of you have looked at a column of numbers and thought, I'm pretty sure there's something important in here, but I don't have time or maybe even the skills to know what that is? And here's the thing. I'm a data analytics professor, and I find myself in that situation often. You're not alone. And until recently, extracting deep and meaningful insights from the data required a data analyst on your payroll, an expensive consultant, or you just miss access to all of those insights and your competitor gains an advantage. That era is over. It's over. In AI Studio, we can take a spreadsheet, copy in the data, your sales figures, your customer lists, your expense reports, and paste that directly into the chat, and then just use the things that we talked about. You are a world-class data analyst. I want you to analyze this data and tell me my top 3 trends, my biggest opportunities. Tell me my most significant risks. And what comes back will astonish and amaze you. No coding, no Excel formulas, no data science degree, just a question and an answer. Every business owner in District 7 now has access to the kind of data analysts that Fortune 500 companies pay millions of dollars for. And here's the beautiful part. You can keep asking, which of my products has the highest profit margin? Which of my customers have not returned in the last 90 days? What would happen to my revenue if I raise prices by 10%? The conversation continues. The insights deepen. And your understanding of your own business, it grows with every single question. Data is the new oil. And AI Studio will give you the ability to become a refiner of that oil. Use it. I'm at the Pentagon. I think Dr. Santos mentioned that. And I was flying up here. I was sitting next to a young lady, and she was, we struck up a conversation, and I asked her, what did she do? She said she was a data analyst for, I forget, some company in Philly. Not going to remember right now. But anyway, not Ernst & Young, but one of them, Vanguard. She's a data analyst for Vanguard. And she was in town because she has her mother lives in Miami, runs a small business in Miami, and she was helping her mother analyze the data. And I pulled out AI Studio right there on the plane, showed her. She started putting in the docs that she had from her. That's why I'm talking about this today, putting in her mom's information, pulling insights out. And when we got off the plane, I got off the plane, she left, I left, and then she came back while I was waiting for my Uber. She came back and she said, Do you know that that does about 85% of what I do at Vanguard? 85%. It's a new era. It's a new era. As your personal data analyst. So here's your action plan. I know we covered a lot of ground. This is just the first. We'll get more technical as we proceed, but this is your action plan. And I know that when I presented, this much information, I already know it can feel overwhelming. So I want to kind of bring this plane in for a landing. Simple, actionable plan that you can start executing tomorrow morning. Because knowledge without action, it's just entertainment. And what I do is not about entertainment. Today is about action. Our plan, you have to change your mindset. AI as your consultant, not as your assistant. Think about the different types of AI. Start to use it. Pick the right tool. Know when to use ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Perplexity, Claude. Third, make sure that you're very clear about metaprompting. Like I said, that is the most important skill of this next generation. Our students, if our students graduate and they don't understand metaprompting, which is how we get to metacognition, thinking about thinking, they will fail in this next generation. The Chinese will clean our clocks if our students don't start changing their mindset, learning how to metaprompt and metathink. It starts with us. Make sure you give your AI a personality. So as you interact with it, you're interacting with it in the role that it needs to be. Use AI Studio. Just try it. It's free, it's powerful, it's available to all of us right now. Experiment with it. Analyze images. And I'm saying images, I'm using headshots as an example, but it doesn't have to be headshots. You can upload PDFs. You can draw stick figures and load it up there. You're trying to help your kid with math. Write down the math problem on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, load it up there. It'll be able to help them see that and show them step by step how to fix it. Analyze your data. Try it. You'd be amazed. And the most important step of all is to actually take action. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Start today. As we go through this series, my plan is to make sure that I bring out a single technology, deep dive into that technology, show you how this can apply in your personal life and in your business life. And the goal is to, every time you leave, to have value that you can walk away with. Commissioner Regalado brought us together today because she believes in the future of this district. Miami-Dade College is here because we believe in the people in this community. And I believe that our residents and our businesses in this district, we have everything that we need to lead Miami in this next era. These tools are free. The knowledge is here. The only question is whether you're going to take that first step. And I'm hoping that you will. And I'm hoping that I see you in our next session. So with that being said, Dr. Santos, if it's okay, I'll pass it back to you. I'm not sure if we have any questions, but I'm here for it all. Hit me with your best shot.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Thank you, Dr. Lee. That was great, and I hope that everyone enjoyed the session. And as Alejandro mentioned, we have a Q&A. I don't know, Alejandro, if you wanted to open the floor to questions, or if you have received questions for Dr. Lee.
Yes, we have some questions here. We have around a handful of questions. If you guys want to review them and pick the ones that...
Oh, I see. I didn't see it here. I'm sorry.
We're working the bottom. In the bottom, you should see them.
Got it. I see it now. I didn't see them before. If it's okay, I'll start with the big one. Catherine asked about hallucinations. Hallucinations, Catherine, that's the right question to ask, right? So with the modern models, if you look at Gemini 3 and Claude Opus 4.6 and above, they have seriously attacked hallucinations. So in the past, what would happen is that you would interface with it until it ran out of context, and then it would start to make stuff up. With the modern models, what they do now is they will, once they find themselves running out of memory, they'll compress that memory, add that to a new session so that they don't start to hallucinate and make stuff up. So the false positives have shrunk to we're now in less than 10% with a lot of the false positives. With all of that being said, we're nowhere near to the point where this is replacing humans. So all of the output that comes out, there's still a responsibility that we have to validate. So it's not completely gone, but the modern models, not only do they have the compaction algorithm, they also take the outputs and they'll give the outputs to new models whose only job it is to validate what came from the other models, so that, you know, there's a lot of techniques and things that we do to fight and battle hallucinations. We're on the right side of it. It's nowhere near where it used to be. Problem is that these new models are so expensive that most people don't try it. So you're stuck, you know, using the old models, and it hallucinates and causes people to lose confidence. So, Juan, is there a right and wrong way to prompt AI in order to receive the most accurate reply? You used to hear a lot of people talk about this thing called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering meant that, yes, there was all these rules and stuff that you had to follow to prompt it the right way, and all these certificates. And no, it's just no. So here's the reality. The reality is that these AI companies recognize that the weakness between the AI and the human was always the human. You know, you ask a bad question, get a bad answer, blame the AI, you know. So when it comes to prompting, they put their energy into what they call increasing the context map. So you can give it more information. And even if you ask it a bad question, so long as you've given it enough context, then it's usually pretty good at reasoning through what you want. So the key now is to make sure that you don't just ask it a question, but you feed it the documents that are there to help it answer your question. So context engineering is I would say already replaced a lot of the prompt engineering stuff that's out there. So not really. If you ask it the question and you give it the right context, that usually is all that you need. Josie, do I need to use different prompts? Yeah, to create the images and headshots. Yes is the short answer. Yes is the short answer. If you use AI Studio, in the top right up here, these are all of the models. Gemini is for text, images. Over here, if you want to create images and headshots, etc. Nano Banana, it's amazing, right? It's what I just used to create my my headshot. But yes, that's the only thing that you have to know, is you have to be able to go over here and select the AI that you want. And I don't think I'm going to get through all of the questions, so I'll do the best that I can. I promise you I'll at least respond to them in writing. Alejandro, we can work on that. How secure is sharing customer data with the AI if you're not in control of the data, of what the data is managed after you click send? Is it HIPAA compliant? All right, so Julio, thank you for asking that. I should have been very clear about this. I keep saying that this is free. It's not free. It's only free if you don't care about, your data and your privacy, etc. So the way that it works, not just with Google, but with all of them, is whatever data that you provide, whenever you hit enter, that data now belongs to Google or whoever owns the model. So you have to be careful about that. You have to understand that. You have to know that you don't want any PII, personally identifiable information, healthcare information, classified data, business sensitive data. You have to be careful about that if you're using the free tools. If you are using the paid tools, then you can opt out, and then there's a little more leeway there. But you have to go into this knowing that anything that you put into these free tools, you are literally giving them your data. It literally belongs to them legally in every sense of the word. It's no longer yours. Keep that in mind. So the way that it works is your prompts can be copywritten. Your prompts belong to you. The model belongs to Google or OpenAI or whoever, and the outputs can belong to you as well, right? So you can copyright your inputs, you can copyright the outputs, but they can use that data to make their model better, right? So just have to keep that in mind. So unless you pay for it, that's the deal. Okay. And Juan, I think that's the answer to your question as well. Alejandro, I think Pauline, Alejandro will let you know where to find the session information. Oh, okay. Gloria, yes, if you add a system prompt over here, if you add a system prompt, it's just going to give it its personality. It just gives it its personality. You should still metaprompt. Okay. Yes, and Mary Lou, do these prompts with metaprompts work with other AI models as well? Absolutely. Yeah, this is why the important part now is the AI is already amazing. The AI is already powerful. Everything that I told you today is about empowering you. This works for all of the models. That mindset in using system prompts and metaprompting is where this actually fits in for all of the models. Okay, Cecilia, what AI tool can help an architect or interior designer draw an elevation or design cabinetry, etc. for a kitchen? Nano Banana Pro, hands down. Nano Banana Pro, this model right here, go to images. It'll cost you, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 cents an image. But this is what we use. I just work with the largest realtor in Fisher Island, and we'll go in there. She'll take pictures, and that's what we do. We redo the entire interior of all of these. I was gonna say mech mansions, but all these mansions, everything from designing cabinetry to just having different looks. But we only use Nano Banana Pro for that. The model is there. That's not free, but it's like I said, 10, 15 cents an image. Okay. All right. So yeah, Pablo, this is our getting started, and then we're going to deep dive into a different tool each week. Can there be wrong answers? Anna, 100%. I would not trust anything that comes out of this. It's like Ronald Reagan said, trust and verify. I literally just had this happen. We're working on a legal platform, and mentioned multiple times, make sure you don't take any of this and put it before the judge. And that's exactly what they did. It hallucinated some case law, and it just was not good. So yes, can it be wrong with the answers? Yes. I mean, you can imagine, even if it's 94% accurate, I mean, if you're flying a plane, nobody's going to get on the plane that, lands 9 times out of 10, so there's still a requirement for us to validate all of the answers. Michelle, I honestly had a, my friend I was just telling you about at Fisher Island. We went through, was going to build a whole big, fancy, expensive platform for her. And in the end, we just settled on what you see right here, AI Studio and Nano Banana Pro. And so now she's playing with this to learn her workflows, her use cases, and we're going to use these tools. We're going to automate with these tools to build from her, to build her application. Let me say this because I've gotten this question a few times. Here is the path I think that a lot of you should go down, especially because as we kind of start to turn the corner and go into some more applied stuff. Number one, you have to understand the capabilities of this thing. Start there, right? So places like this will show you the capabilities. That's number one. Number two, and this is the important part. Think about this before our next session. you have to think about your workflows. You have to think about your workflows and how AI could potentially fit in there. Okay. Don't just think of, your core business workflows either. Also think about all of the administrivia that you have to do for your job. Think about your specific workflows, whether you're a business owner or not. What are your workflows and how can we leverage AI? How can we leverage AI to make your business processes, your life processes more effective, more efficient? Not so that AI can replace anything, but so they can give you time back to do more high value tasks. Once you have that, right, then we can start to have a real conversation. Until then, we're talking abstract and pie in the sky. But when you come to me and you say, hey, this is my business use case. For instance, she came to me and she said, hey, I have these high net worth individuals that'll come in. They're ready to drop, $30 million on this house, but they don't like the, the decor. Okay, great. Well, we'll do some research in the beginning. We'll find out what their tastes are. And before they even show up, we're going to have the AI decorate the place so that they can look and they can see which decor they like. So when they actually show up, we've increased the chance that we're going to close the sale. But there's a workflow. There's a goal. There's a process or something that we can work towards. That's where I think that most of you should be. So we're past all of the hype. Think of specific, concrete, measurable workflows that we can start to dig into. And that's where I think the next era will be, because that's what I'm going to do kind of moving forward. Alicia, man, yeah, I do that all the time. I'll get a response. I'll take that response out. Like I'll get a response in Claude, take that response out of Claude, and I put it into Gemini, and we call it generative adversarial prompting, where I'll say, I want you to challenge this. I want you to be a critic of these responses. And we kind of go through that loop. Okay, folks, unfortunately, my time is up. I hope that you're able to get some value out of this. This is, like I said, we're just, kind of getting warmed up here. Expect there to be a lot more to come in the future. Alejandro, floor is yours, sir.